I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Caroga. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Here to make war, we surrender. Falsehood, important things are hidden new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. That means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before, or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Birdo Prey 5 channel. Hail Caroga.
Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Bed Life for July 23rd, 2021 of Friday, TBIF. Yes, thank Bird, it's Friday. And on this date, July 23rd, 1995, 2 astronomers nearly simultaneously discovered the comet that would later become to be known as Comet Hale-Bopp, the official comet of Caroga, Hale-Bopp. Indeed, of course, it's not spelt Hale-Bopp, it's spelt after the actual last names of Alan Hale from New Mexico and Thomas Bopp of Arizona, who discovered the comet, again, called it in nearly at the same time, to the point that they had to give shared credit. Instead of Comet Hale or Comet Bopp, it is Comet Hale-Bopp. And it has such a history to it. Of course, it would later go on to be the comet most remembered for the cult of people who decided to not drink Kool-Aid, but otherwise off themselves in Rancho Santa Fe, California, to go so they could go join the alien spaceship UFO that they were sure was following the comet, and the only way to get to the comet was by shedding their mortal bodies. I don't know. I don't know why. I will pledge to all Carogans. Hear me, Carogans. Lend me your ears if I ever tell you to drink poisoned Kool-Aid or to take a pill that you don't know what it's going to do, and I say I'll take it last. Don't do it, okay? Probably somebody has swapped me out with a body double. I will never ask any Carogan citizens to do that. That's just nuts. But anyway, yeah, so the official comet of Caroga, Comet Hale-Bopp, today discovered 1995. And so earlier today, I actually live streamed 3 hours ago at 1 p.m., a little before 1 p.m. Eastern. Paramount Plus had their Star Trek Prodigy and Star Trek Lower Decks panel on the San Diego Comic-Con at Home YouTube channel. And so we watched that live for my live reaction. And we got to see the first trailer for Star Trek Prodigy. We first off, I learned that the people involved in Star Trek Prodigy, there were actually a few older gentlemen who claimed to have watched the TOS in syndication as kids, and actually surprised me that they were perhaps TOS fans. What's clear is that they are not gambling. They don't want to call Prodigy a kids show. It was initially supposed to be released on Nickelodeon only, but it is now being released on Paramount Plus streaming first. And although they're still calling it a Nickelodeon production, it remains to be seen if it'll actually ever air on Nickelodeon. They don't want to call it a kids show because they know that will alienate the adult population. And frankly, they know there's not that big of a population to watch a new Star Trek series that they can throw away a large portion of their audience by saying this isn't for you. But it would appear they did not all get on the same page, because Kate Mulgrew was very much pushing this as a kid's show, whereas some of the other people, including the panel moderator who plays Commander Ransom in Lower Decks, and I forget his name, his real name, he was trying to push it as both a kids and adult show, and other people involved in Prodigy also wanted to say, well, it's for kids, but it's also can be appreciated by adults. I don't think they did a very good unified front. I think their message was suspect at best. It really it dripped of despotism. They were just desperate to have anybody watch this show, and I hope for their sake that they can find an audience. Like, some of the actors are literally children. The actor who plays the rock monster is an 8-year-old girl in the show. Even though it looks like the biggest, toughest thing, it's actually a little kid at heart. And the actress or actor who plays the little girl is indeed a little girl who I would have guessed would be maybe 12 years old, maybe 10 years old. I doubt she's 14 or 15. And she very much is just the little child. And she's laughing and she's like, yeah, it's fun to play. Because it's just me. There's no acting involved. It's just me. Which, while that is great in a way, it kind of makes a mockery of the job known as acting. The whole point of acting is to be someone you're not. If you're playing yourself, you're not really acting, is it? It's just, I don't care, but I would think a true actor on that panel, someone like even Kate Mulgrew, or God forbid, Patrick Stewart should ever come in contact with this person, I would think they'd be insulted that they're sharing a show with someone who's not actually doing any acting. But I mean, it's a kid, so what are you going to do? Why they have separate people for every character on the show boggles the mind. Again, like I said, in The Simpsons, you can get one person play 12 different characters. Okay, they could have 2 or 3 adults make this entire show and have just as many varied voices and not have to really rely on a separate individual person for every individual character. I honestly don't get it. But that's what they chose to do. So Star Trek Prodigy, the animation style, if you look at the trailer, it was not terrible. It was actually better than I thought it would be, considering the artwork we saw. But as for the stories, I don't know. It would appear that these kids who steal the starship, and the starship looks pretty good, although Dan, thank you, Dan, and happy birthday again. We'll get to that. Dan sent me some stills from the trailer of the starship. It looks a lot smaller than I thought it was. At first, I thought it was more like a Voyager, like an Intrepid class ship. But looking closer at it, I think it's more closer in size to a fancy runabout. It's got the shape of an Intrepid, like an oval saucer, and it's got traditional Star Trek, very thin, but struts for the warp nacelles. But looking at it, it looks like a very small ship, so that the 6 or 8 kids on it, it's probably all it's designed for. It's probably not designed for a crew of 80 or 100 people. I think it's more like a runabout, a fancy runabout or something, that 8 or 10 kids could conceivably pilot the ship just fine. Might even be too many. We'll see. Lower Decks. The Lower Decks trailer left a little bit to be desired, because some of the scenes were just copies from season 1 of Lower Decks, but other parts very clearly showed, unfortunately, that Ensign Boimler does indeed go back to the Cerritos. You can tell this is at some point in the future. He is back in the Cerritos uniform. He's with the Cerritos crew, his old crew, Mariner and Rutherford. At the end of season 1, Rutherford had his cyborg implant pulled out of him, and he was healing without a cyborg implant at all. So I guess they've decided to put it back in. I don't know if we'll get a why, but in season 2, it basically looks like the end of season 1 didn't happen. Rutherford has his same exact implant in. Now, they do say Riker and the Titan do feature through season 2, so I'm guessing it's going to be more than a single episode with Riker and the Titan, so that would be good. If Boimler doesn't go back immediately, maybe they can make some reason for Boimler to come back to the Cerritos. Maybe the Titan even gets destroyed. I don't know. If the Titan got destroyed and Boimler got assigned back to the Cerritos, I could live with that. But I don't know. They do show, they give away that there's a Tom Paris cameo in season 2 of Lower Decks, which was pretty interesting. We'll see. I know some of you really hate Lower Decks, Captain Trek. Speaking of which, Captain Trek put out a video based on the trailers and the reaction to the video. You guys should check it out. Captain Trek was not amused. I know some people really hate Lower Decks, including Captain Trek and Rock Solid. I'm not as angry at Lower Decks, because I do think Mike McMahon does have decent knowledge of Star Trek, but I do think he was forced to make some decisions that I really, really, really don't agree with. But we'll wait and we'll see what happens with that. And that does just start up in, what are we, about 3 weeks, August 12th. So we were about 3 weeks away from the first episode of 10 of Lower Decks. So won't be all that long before we'll be reviewing Lower Decks each week. Kind of looking forward to it. Certainly more than I was Loki or WandaVision or any of the other series. And I thought it hilarious that it took them so long to actually start talking about Lower Decks in the Lower Decks panel, that the actress who plays Ensign Mariner, and I just don't know her real name because they're new. They're relatively new, and I honestly don't care about their real names all that much. She also played in Space Force, which was one season with Steve Carell on Netflix. And she did mention that on this Paramount Plus stream, that this Paramount Plus Comic-Con stream, she did give an update that, oh yeah, Space Force Season 2 just wrapped up. So I was happy to hear about Space Force Season 2 coming, because at this point I had basically given up. I thought Space Force Season 2 was never going to happen. Actually happy to hear that Space Force Season 2 is happening, and I kind of look forward to that. And I thought it hilarious that Paramount Plus, I don't know if they paid or what they paid. They had to pay something to bring these panels together. And instead, I'm getting more info, useful info, about a competitor's show on Netflix than I was their actual show on Paramount Plus. So thank you to Paramount Plus for giving me a Netflix update. Anyway, not Ryan Johnson was first in the chat. Says hello in Qapla. Hail Caroga. Hail Caroga. Dave G Sound. Hail Caroga. Kronos says firstest. No, Kronos. And he's like, oh, come on. Dave and Not are cheating. No, they weren't cheating, Kronos. And Kronos' Bird of Prey, just start the bloody show already. That was 35 minutes ago, or maybe longer. Kronos says, I could use Yvette right now. Well, I don't think you're going to get Yvette right now. Positive Candor says, can't wait for the award-winning episodes of Lower Decks, Prodigy, Strange New Worlds, Picard, and Discovery. Thank you. There was nothing from what I could see about Picard or Strange New Worlds or Discovery. Hoping there would be, but nothing yet. Maybe something's been released. I've been playing a game the last half hour, so I wasn't watching. Caroga Knight says, Viva Caroga. Thank you, Caroga Knight. Captain Trek says, hello, hello, Captain. Hello, Richie Poole. 47 Yorktown says, howdy. Dan says, I need to retweet more trailers on Twitter. Whatever you need to do, Dan. And Dan23, it is Dan23's birthday today, guys and gals. Dan23 got for his birthday the Constitution class, Eagle Moss. Congratulations to Dan. Not from me, I guess. I don't know if it was his parents or somebody bought it for him for his birthday. So congrats. Happy birthday, Dan. And I will now sing happy birthday because it's the best I can do and for those of you who don't know, Dan is likes 23, I believe, on Twitter, and constantly sending me updates on Star Trek and related things, and I appreciate that. Some of them I already know, but once in a while, in fact, more than once in a while, he'll send me something I didn't know, or I learn it for the first time. So thank you, Dan, for all those DMs you do send, and a happy birthday. So Sassy, I wish you could sing with me, Sassy, but she's just looking at me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dan 23. Happy birthday to you. Qapla! Just a little something, Dan. Sorry I can't do more unless you want some of this, Dan. There you go. Happy birthday, Dan. Okay. We had a jump. Professor Brainy Specs is in the house. Says Hail BOP. What? You heard me. Comet Hail BOP. Positive Candor says in 1984, Miss America resigned over nude photos on July 23rd, 1984. 21-year-old Vanessa Williams gives up her Miss America title, the first resignation in the pageant's history, after Penthouse magazine announces plans to publish the nude photos of the beauty queen in its September issue. Well, where's the link to the photos, Positive Candor? And antiderivative Jill Qapla, again, antiderivative Jill, says July 23rd history. On July 23rd, 2012, Sally Ride, the first woman in space, died. She rode on the Challenger in 1983. So yes, the Challenger did have successful missions before it blew up in 86. And yes, I am aware the Challenger did have a career before it blew up. Sally Ride also, and although not, I don't know that's public knowledge per se, but Sally Ride was a big part of the investigation into what happened to the Challenger, and it is widely believed that she is the person who leaked some sensitive secret NASA info to the press about the fact that they kind of blundered it, that they purposely put astronaut lives in danger because they were trying to show the U.S. military that they could launch the shuttle every couple months, which, as we all know, was ridiculous, and it all came down to money, unfortunately. The shuttle disaster, there was undue pressure or bad pressure from the top of NASA to launch the shuttle despite the temperatures, because they wanted to show they could launch, and they didn't want Congress to think they spent billions and billions and billions of dollars on a space shuttle that couldn't launch if it was too cold outside. It's widely believed Sally Ride was the reason that got out, and whistleblower history will certainly, I think, judge her in the right for letting that get out. And if you ever do get a chance to watch the Apple TV series by Ronald D. Moore, what's it called? Oh shit! How did I forget the name? I've been pushing it for 2 years. The Apple TV series For All Mankind. In season 2, which takes place in the 80s, there is a Sally Ride character. No spoilers, but Sally Ride, because it is based on alternate history, Sally Ride does indeed make an appearance, and I recognized who she was right away before they said her name because of her distinctive haircut. Greetings from the future from the Random Menace, Qapla. Random Menace, and Richie Poole says Qapla. And Anti-Derivative Jill wants to see Bird of Prey 5 dancing like that again someday. Thank you, Jill. That is me dancing back in, I think it was 2005 or 2006, in the opening countdown. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47 Yorktown. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. Official package inspector, Mike Richards. Josh Street says, Bird of Prey, stop stealing comets for Caroga when you have nothing to do in finding it. I didn't steal the comet. I just calling it the official comet of Caroga. And Josh Street says, why do Carogans think there are alien spaceships behind every comet? I don't think there are. Sci-Fi Nation says, greetings, Birdo Prey, Mamo Prey, Sassio Prey, and fellow nerds. All hail glorious Caroga, and of course, dear leader, God Emperor, Birdo Prey 5. Thank you, Sci-Fi Nation. And Anti-Derivative Jill says, your live reaction was better than having to watch the panel myself. Thank you, Jill. I appreciate it, and I assumed it would be. I just had that feeling. Dan23 says, I was 8 when I first saw Star Trek, and it was a TNG episode. That's cool, Dan. We all have different ages. Officer Kathy subscribed. Thanks, Officer Kathy. And the Catman, D.D. Myers, has renewed their membership, their Carogan Citizen member, 10 months in a row. Thank you so much, D.D. Myers, for the renewal. And Anti-Derivative Jill says, exactly, real Star Trek is appealing to kids without the need to pander to anyone. Abso-effing-lutely. The whole fact that they think they need to create a Star Trek that is for kids is the problem. Okay, TOS, TNG, they were just as much for kids as for any. They were family shows. You could watch it with the family. The same as the original Twilight Zone. Okay, it's another show that has the very same problem. In 1959, through the 1980s and 90s, you could sit down and watch either the original series of Star Trek, TNG, the original Twilight Zone, Deep Space Nine, or Voyager, or Enterprise with your entire family. And your kids would like it because of the spaceships or the monsters or whatever. And the adults would get more of the higher concepts going on. And you could all talk about it. And you would make, these are how new Trekkies were born. Come 2020 and CBS comes in and they're like, let's make new Trek, or 2018. And then we get Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard, where they are cursing up a storm. You're like, I can't let my kids watch this. You can't have kids watching shows where they're saying F this, F that. And I'm sorry, my show isn't for kids, but I'm not trying to make my show for kids. I know it's not for kids. But if I was doing a Star Trek series, I wouldn't be putting in curses, period. But they, not only do they put it in on purpose because it makes them think they're making a more mature show. It makes them think, oh, I'm doing it for adults. Fuck you. You're not doing it for adults. You're doing it for yourself. Okay? And I'm sorry. And I know I curse a lot. But I admit, cursing, I curse because I don't have the words to express what I want to say better. Okay? If I had better diction, if I knew more and interesting words, a bigger vocabulary, I wouldn't have to curse as much, because then I could find a word other than fucking asshole or fucking fool or cheap bread motherfucker to describe what it is I want to describe without having to resort to the 4-letter cuss words. Okay, so I understand every time a bad word comes out of my mouth, that is a failure of vocabulary on my part. It is not something to be proud of. It is not something to cheer. The people behind Picard and Discovery, they're patting themselves on the back. Every time Tilly says, fuck yeah, they're patting themselves on the back, thinking they're breaking new ground. You're not breaking new ground. You're a fuckwit. You have no fucking brain. Okay? If my job was writing, I would spend more time reading the fucking dictionary than going out and writing cuss-filled scripts. It's bullshit. Okay? The people who wrote TOS and TNG and DS9, they knew more than you will ever know. They are better writers than you will ever be. DC Fontana, even Gene Roddenberry, whose scripts, I admit, were kind of weird, boring, and out there sometimes. The fucking script to The Journey to Eden is better than any fucking Star Trek Discovery script that has ever, The Way to Eden, that has ever been put. You want, so you're like, context is for kings. You come up with this jerk off fucking fancy title out of fucking King Lear, and you think, pat myself on the back. I'm so great. I'm such a great writer. Fuck you. You ain't shit. Okay? Give me a script where they don't have to curse to let me know how upset they are, how angry they are, and how much they've been wronged, or how excited they are. And then I will pat you on the back. Yeah, it's they don't understand the difference between kid and family and adult and family. Okay, you can make a family show that is kid friendly, adult friendly. Everybody likes it. Nobody has reason to not show it. But instead, they want to go adult, and they made the same mistake with Picard, with Discovery, and the new Twilight Zone that only got 2 seasons, thankfully. Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone suffered the exact same problem as Star Trek. Every fucking episode were F-bombs and other words. And like, even in the fucking season 1 finale, the main character said she remembers watching Twilight Zone with her parents as a kid. So you know that this is what you're supposed to do. This was supposed to be a show you could let your 5-year-old watch with you. Well, what the fuck you think? You're gonna let your fucking 5-year-old watch when they're fucking cursing up a storm every fucking minute? No, you stupid fucks. Fuck. See, this is not for kids. Now, does this make me some great writer to Hollywood? Should Hollywood come and give me $5 million to write the new Star Trek script? No, they shouldn't. At least not based on what they saw here. If they really wanted to, I would give them something that would possibly, I would hope might change their mind, but this isn't it. This isn't it. We're going to be way behind. Dan23 says, yeah, but Star Trek Lower Decks was coming out, they said, an adult comedy, but the creator said teenagers would like it. I mean, teenagers probably do. And there is an age, 15, 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, where you're not going to worry about what they hear, because let's face it, by the time you're 15, you've heard many words. You're probably saying many words, maybe not at the dinner table, hopefully, but you've probably spoken your fair share of curse words. But, and this was another problem, that they couldn't nail down what was the right age for Star Trek Prodigy. And she's like, well, whether it's 5 years old, 10 years old, or 15 years old. Well, schmuck, 5-year-olds and 15-year-olds do not watch the same shows. It is very rare that you get a 5-year-old wanting to watch the same thing as a 15-year-old. And I promise you, if you made Lower Decks to appeal to 5-year-olds, it is not going to appeal to 15-year-olds. Okay? And if you made it to appeal to 15-year-olds, it's not going to appeal to 5-year-olds. Now, if you made it appeal to everybody, to a family, you got half a shot. You got half a shot of them watching it. But the fact that you were forcing this, that you were trying to aim it at one particular age group, it means you fucked up. Dan says, I think I liked the Trek interview with the singer Rihanna about her experience watching Star Trek as a child. I am not aware of that interview. And Spike is in the house. Says, let's not be mean to children, Bird. Not being mean to children. Sci-Fi Nation says, Bird of Prey, it depends on if you're pretending to be someone you're not, or if you're acting just like being yourself. If you're acting or just being yourself. Well, that's the thing. If you're just being yourself, you are by definition not acting. Cinnabon Bunny's in the house. Qapla Cinnabon Bunny. And he's looking forward to Lower Decks. You know what? I'm looking forward to it too. I'm afraid I'm going to have to go off on it if they put Boimler back on the Cerritos right away. But there's a chance. There's a chance I won't. And Bird of Prey 5, myself, donated $1.49. I guess this must be a future Bird of Prey. And says, hello world, you heard it here first. I said it, 15-year-olds should hear F. Let's start putting porn on for 16-year-olds after we all know they've seen boobs, so let's stop pretending. And raw meat drinks for all. Okay, those were not my words. Those were words by somebody who paid me to say those words. And instead of F, they did write out fuck, which I'm surprised was allowed to come through. But, okay. Dan says the Prodigy ship says NX 76884. Interesting. And they did call it a dilapidated ship, which means it's old. So I'm guessing this takes place in several hundred years. Perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. At one point, and I suspect it was a mistake, I'm 95% sure it was a mistake. Janeway said the ship traveled between galaxies. I just think she meant between quadrants or between stars. Because I don't think it's between galaxies. And Sci-Fi Nation is looking forward to season 2 of Space Force. I agree. Yeah, it was a hilarious. If you guys have not seen season 1 of Space Force on Netflix, you should check it out. And Dan puts in a link and says you'll be able to buy the Tom Paris plate. Josh reads says, Dan, happy birthday. And what the hell are you still doing in Caroga? Have fun in Las Caroga. And put the bill on Bird of Prey's account. If you can find somebody that's say, put it on my account and they'll take it, then do it. Because I do not have any tabs open in Las Caroga. And Sci-Fi Nation says, yeah, baby, kissing Dax all night long. Positive Candor says, contrary to what fans may have expected, Prodigy isn't the name of the ship the teens discover. Instead, it's called the USS Protostar with the designation NX 76884. I'll be honest, I never thought the ship was called Prodigy. Prodigy doesn't make sense. It's not the name of a Federation ship. I just assumed it was called Prodigy because the kids were all going to be ultra smart prodigies. I never thought it would be the USS Prodigy. But good call, that's the USS Protostar. Although, to be honest, that doesn't make any much sense either as a Federation ship name. But, whatever. John Street says, only bird of prey will try to buy you off with kissing Dax after he destroys your ears. And Dan says, no, constantly sending sometimes. Lol, it's okay. Cinnabon Bunny says, Masters of the Universe is not terrible or woke. I didn't see it. Don't care. Hope it isn't. If you enjoy it, more power to you. Dan says, I don't know. I don't know what people I know. I'm not Deanna Troy. Positive Candace says, are you going to change this stream to 18 plus? No, I'm not changing the stream to 18 plus. Just put in the link. I'm not going to show them. Sci-Fi Nation says, I have a backlog of about 25 games for Thursday nights, free to play games, weird or worth it stream. Cool. Dan23 says, Bird thank you. I got more happy birthdays online this year than ever before. You are welcome, Dan. Mamo Pray also wishes you a happy birthday, Dan. Positive Candor says, yes, for all mankind. Thank you. And Sci-Fi Nation says, yes, for all mankind, an awesome show. Absolutely is. Captain Track says, hello again, Captain. What'd you say, Mama Pray? You lost your phone. You need me to call it? Okay. She found it. Yes, thank you for subbing, Officer Kathy. Is that Kathleen Kennedy? Officer Kathleen Kennedy. Sci-Fi Nation says, hail Caroga. Dan says, not sure you want to show Star Trek Picard eye removal scene to kids. Yeah, that's another thing you probably don't want to show to kids. Poor Ichib. Not the actor, but just the character. And Officer Kathy says, Star Wars Prodigy looks really good. Oh, Kathy. Dan says, when at school, we are shown scenes from the Matrix when they come out of the pod. That was nasty. Sci-Fi Nation says, they showed us Faces of Death to us in Driver's Ed. Really? In Driver's Ed? That's crazy. Salty Tracker says, what is Bird cursing about? Star Trek. What else? Yitza Lemon says, Bird is such a potty mouth. Also, it's well known that intelligent people curse more. Really? Because I think it's the other way around. Officer Kathy can't wait to show it to the delinquents in juvenile hall. Oh boy. Elihu Who says, so Bop is okay with Spock and Kirk cursing and not Tilly. Fuck you, Elihu. Fuck you. Tell me where Kirk and Spock yelled, fuck yeah, or this is the fucking power of math, or whatever the fuck they said. Okay, double dumbass on you is not a fucking curse. Okay, and he didn't even fucking say it until he was forced to. Officer Kathy says, I got your fucking script right here. Sci-Fi Nation says, Spock, Captain, I've noticed your vocabulary since arriving this time has become, shall we say, way more colorful. Kirk says, it's a primitive society. The only way people pay attention is to curse a lot. I don't think that's the exact quote, but it's pretty close. You'll find it in all the literature of the time. And he says examples, and he gives out a few, and Spock sarcastically says, the greats. Yeah. John Araki donated $1. Thank you, John Araki, for the super chat. Dan says, as a kid, there was a TV advertisement where a dog comes out a guy's mouth to do what with having dog breath, and taking experimental mint gum. That is nasty. And Salty Tracker, aka the formerly known as the Anti-Tracker, says, so watch the Star Trek Clone Wars panel. And yes, Star Trek adds way more salt. Why don't you? Says Sci-Fi Nation. Yeah, I did a live stream of the panel, live reaction, and Captain Trek puts in a link to his channel so you can see his video he did reacting to the panel. Uncle Remus, Qapla Uncle Remus, says, bad animated Star Trek shows make Bird's head explode. I hope not. It'd be really messy for Mama Prey. Captain Trax says, Richie Poole, any parents of 5-year-olds watch Bird of Prey. They have F-bombs a lot. Yeah, you shouldn't let your kids watch me. I don't even know why any people watch me. Richie Poole says, I think Bird of Prey has a new favorite word. It begins with F and ends with K. Frack, says Sci-Fi Nation. And Sci-Fi yells, space lesbians. Robert Rose Jr. says, hello again today. Hello again, Robert Rose. Weird seeing many of you people twice in one day. Sci-Fi Nation says, I think Bird of Prey is on Top Chat or just skipping. I am skipping unless it has at Bird of Prey 5 in it. There's no guarantee of me reading it. Sci-Fi is just no possible way to read them all. Positive Candor says, hello, Salty Tracker, Bird of Prey, already mentioned that. Andreas is here. Qapla Andreas is Dear Bop. We'll get to Dear Bop in a little bit, Andreas. Salty Tracker says, honestly, after watching Prodigy panel, the show looks less and less like Star Trek. I will give it a fair shake, but everything they say made me cringe. Yeah, that panel was messed up. There was that one guy who said he liked TOS as a kid, but he was the voice of the Blob. He was the voice of the Blob, and the Blob makes no words. The Blob doesn't speak any language. So I don't even know why you need a voice actor to voice a character that doesn't say any words. Deej with a $1.49 super chat donation says, for all wanting to see a real Bird of Prey, check out my little video I just uploaded. Deej, we might have to take a look at that. But I'm curious with Deej. Deej uploaded a video. I think it was a farming video or something today. We'll take a look. The other thing is that the robot-looking Pokemon dude is a Medusan, and he says that Medusans are a genderless species, and he admits that there was a Medusan in earlier Trek, which I believe was TOS. Maybe it was TNG, but I think it was TOS. But in either case, that would prove that there was a genderless species in early Trek. So game over. Game over. They just proved their point that they are not the first, and Discovery was not the first to have genderless characters, as we knew they weren't, because we've had three gender and androgynous characters in Trek going back decades. And you don't even have to worry about the salt monster possibly being a gender fluid character. You just got proof. Salty Tracker says, isn't it great? The kids are so smart. I don't think I said that. Tim Possible, Qapla Tim Possible, hello. And Salty Tracker says, isn't it great that none of them are part of Starfleet? Yes, those were some of the things they were talking about it. And Cinnabon says, it's all about the time we had with a female rock monster. Yeah, and the thing is, you're not going to be able to say anything about her character because the actress is like 8 years old or 10 years old or maybe 12. I don't think she's over 12. She is like way young. Like, I don't even want to talk about her. She's that young. John DeMarco, did I miss a rant? I think you might have. Or you were just in time. Deej says, greetings all, greetings Deej Odyssey. Captain Trax says, Elihu, if you're joking, that is lame. If not, F you. Carlo Albanese says, bed life. It's a stream by Berto Bray 5. Indeed it is. Carlo, hope everyone's as well as can be. Thank you, Carlo Albanese. Hail, Caroga. Cinnabon says, what's a vice lieutenant? Yeah, vice lieutenant. Isn't that Janeway's rank? Oh my God, vice lieutenant. Dan, thanks, Mamo Pray. She just on the phone with her brother. Captain Drake, Bird of Prey, we watch you because we think you're effing awesome. Thank you, Captain. And you know what, Captain? That is surprisingly why people watch you too. That's why we watch anybody, except Salty Tracker. We just like to see him eat hot stuff. Deej says, yay, Zoidberg whipped out his butt in Bird's face. John Araki Qapla says they should make a version of the clue board game where you figure out who killed Trek. Alex Kurtzman did it in the studio with the Tilly. Or Michael Burnham did it in the what is it called? The Mirror Universe with the phaser. That's actually, you know what? That is actually a great way expansion for Clue. That is a great clue. If I wish I could had the skills to make my own clue board. John Araki says up to Deej and Salty Tracker. It's TOS. Yes, that's where the Medusans. Is there no truth in beauty? Thank you, Salty Tracker. I knew there was a reason we kept you around. By the way, Salty Tracker, what is tonight? Is it Jep Nerdy or is it the other thing? Panel. Richie Poole says, hey to Deej. Officer Kathy thinks Sulu was genderless. Sulu is not genderless. Robert Rose Jr. says the Medusans were in the Spectre of the Gun episode, TOS episode. Salty Dragons, Bird of Prey, there was a man named Bird of Prey. His favorite word started with F and ended with K. He watched the panel to try his luck, and all he could say was, what the heck? And John Araki, hashtag Free Gina. Or Free Gina. Positive Candor says the Horta was a female rock monster. It's not the first female rock monster, but it's the first child female rock monster that has a very young voice. Robert Rose says, we don't know if the lava rock creatures from the episode where Kirk meets Lincoln had genders also. That's true. And Cinnabon says, yeah, but the Hoarder was born a man, so it doesn't count. Burnham says, with the spores in the Mirror Universe. Carlo Albanese says, Bird of Prey in Star Trek 6, Kirk kissed the shape-shifting gender-fluid species. A mouth is a mouth. Yeah, but we don't know if it's technically gender-fluid. Like the founders. We don't know if they have gender or not. We know some presented as male and some presented as female. We know they could change shape, but if they naturally had a gender, we just don't know. And Anti-Tracker says that makes it transgender. I don't know. Captain Trax says, Bird of Prey, I thought we watched Salty Tracker to see if he ever completes a series he starts. Oh, come on. Or whose idea he steals next. That's too much. He likes good ideas, like everybody does. Like he's anti-tracker, salty tracker. It's like the Borg. It's a simulation. You should be what's that? You should be happy. Assimilation. Whatever is the sincerest form of flattery. Salty Tracker says it's movie night tonight. It is movie night, so movie night with Matthew tonight. And Cinnabon says you owe me a game of Risk. To Salty Tracker. And so John Araki says, did Bird or Salty sell their bodies to science? I did not, but if science wants to pay me now and get the body later, I'd be open for negotiation. The bidding would start at probably $250,000. I have a very unique body, so I could probably, I'm worth it. Let's just say I'm worth it. So yeah, it might sound steep, but I get paid now and you get the body when I'm done with it. If you understand where I'm going. And if for some reason the body is not, is vaporized or something, is unable to be taken back, then you can charge my estate for the cost of the money you paid plus interest. So I would do that. Captain Track would start the bidding at $2 million. Well, maybe we'll get to $2 million, but you want to start low, Captain, so anybody can get in. And Salty Tracker says 0.001 Qaplas. I don't know what a Qapla is, but it better be worth a lot. And Dan says, I always thought Prodigy was called Prodigy because one of the characters is clever. Yeah, I figured it was meant that the kids were smart, not because of the ship. No, not 1 grain of salt. That doesn't count. So let's see. Let's see what's going on with Deej. What's this chant? What's this thing? Deej. YouTube. That's not Deej. Not with 14.7K subscribers. God damn it. Fucking. There he is. The pink. Oh, Deej Odyssey. It is a Deej Odyssey. My visitor today mowing. Let's see. What's that? A crow? I don't know what that is. Is it an eagle? You guys should check it out. I'll put the link in. I will put the link in. I don't want to play the whole thing. You guys should have reason to go check out Deej's video. Oh, there's a close-up. It's a mean-looking bird, Deej. I'm surprised if you were in the rabbit suit, he would have carried you away. It's a hawk. It's a hawk. The multi-gun man, Qapla multi-gun man. Says, how's it going? It's going good, multi-gun man. Richie Pools is $250,000 for the whole thing. How much for just one piece, like a finger or a kidney? No, it's all or nothing, Richie. I'm sorry. Dan23 says NX means experimental ship. Yes, that is true. And Salty Trekkers, you don't know what a Qapla is. I don't know what a Qapla is worth. Aravic Sonder donated $1. Thank you, Aravic Sonder. Greatly appreciated. Hail Caroga, says Carlo. Indeed. Hail Caroga. And Salty Tracker says bird can't tell between a hawk and a llama. One time I mistake a llama with a turkey or an emu, and forever that's all you're ever going to remember. Great. Good. Just so you know, people, that's how it works. That's how it works. One time, I will watch this video in full later, Deej, but I'm going to give it a thumbs up now. Okay. So let's head over to Dear Bop. Let's see what's going on Dear Bop. We've got 5 messages at the moment. Let's see. Wesley Crusher for the $2 super chat says, Qapla, great bird. You owe me. What do I owe you, Wes? Because you got way to eat in hippie Spock. Tell me what I owe you, Wesley Crusher. Okay. So we'll start the Dear Bop. Hey, Multigun Misses, did you guys catch that? Bird just thumbed down teacher's video. I didn't thumb down. I didn't thumb it down. It's thumbed up. Okay, it is thumbed up. You made me worry, Multigun Man. I accidentally thumbed down his video. Okay. Dear Bop, there was a time in my life 20 years ago when I was driving a cab for a living. It was a cowboy's life, a gambler's life, a life for someone who wanted no boss, constant movement, and the thrill of a dice roll every time a new passenger got in the cab. What I didn't count on when I took the job was that it was also a ministry. Because I drove the night shift, the car became a rolling confessional. Passengers would climb in, sit behind me in total darkness and anonymity, and tell me of their lives. You see, that's so cool. We were like strangers on a train, the passengers and I, hurtling through the night, revealing intimacies we would never have dreamed of sharing during the brighter light of day. In those hours, I encountered people whose lives amazed me, ennobled me, made me laugh, and made me weep. And none of those lives touched me more than that of this woman I picked up late in a warm August night. Okay, wow. I doubt anybody wrote this out. So clearly this is copied and pasted, but you know what? I'm not even mad because I don't know, but I like where this is going. I was responding to a call from a small brick fourplex in a quiet part of town. I assumed I was just being sent to pick up some partiers or someone who had just had a fight with a lover or someone going off to an early shift at some factory in the industrial part of town. When I arrived at the address, the building was dark, except for a single light in the ground floor window. Under these circumstances, many drivers would just honk once or twice, wait a short minute, and then drive away. Too many bad personalities awaited a driver who went up to a darkened building at 2:30 in the morning. But I had seen too many people trapped in a life of poverty who depend on the cab as their only means of transportation. Unless a situation smelled of danger, I always went to the door to try to find the passenger. It might, I reasoned, be someone who needed my assistance. Would I not want a driver to do the same if my mother or father had called for a cab? So I walked to the door and knocked. "Just a minute," answered the frail and elderly voice. I could hear something being dragged across the floor. Oh no, this woman killed her husband. After a long pause, the door opened. A small woman, somewhere in her 80s, stood before me. She was wearing a print dress and a pillbox hat. What the fuck's a pillbox hat? With a veil pinned on it, like you might see in a costume shop or a Goodwill store in the 1940s movie. By her side was a small nylon suitcase. The sound had been dragging it across the floor. Oh, so not a dead husband. The apartment looked as if no one had lived in it for years. All the furniture was covered with sheets. There were no clocks on the walls. Who would notice no clocks on the walls? No knickknacks or utensils on the counters. In the corner was a cardboard box filled with photos and glassware. So you walked over the corner and peered into a box? Excuse me if this is sounding fishy. "Would you carry my bag out to the car?" she said. "I'd like a few moments alone. Then if you could come back and help me, I'm not very strong." I took the suitcase to the cab and returned to assist the woman. She took my arm and walked slowly toward the curb. She kept thanking me for my kindness. "It's nothing," I told her. "I just want to treat my passengers the way I want my mother treated. I'd want my mother treated." You know, that's the same way I thought about when my dad's when I was at work and somebody had a flat tire and she was in no physical condition to change it herself. And I just wanted to get home. It was one of those days. And I was dressed in my nice work clothes. But she pulled over in the parking lot. And I was like one of the last people left in the building. And I couldn't help but stop when I saw her pulled over with a flat tire. And I was like, shit. So I asked her, I was like, "Do you have a spare?" And I was praying she didn't. I was praying she didn't, and I would just drop her off somewhere. I was like, maybe she doesn't have a spare and I can just drop her off somewhere. But no, yes, she had a spare. So I was like, motherfucker, to myself under my breath. So I ended up changing her tire because I was like, if God forbid this happened to Dad O'Prey, who at the time was not physically capable of changing his own tire any longer, or Mom O'Prey or Sis O'Prey, I would want somebody to help them. And so I did, and so I changed her tire, and she was very thankful. And the next day, she bought me a gift card to Applebee's, which was the restaurant she knew I'd go to lunch at a lot. And I didn't expect a gift card. I didn't expect anything. It was nice of her to do so, though. But yeah, I mean, treat people not only how you want to be treated, but how you would want them to treat your loved ones. And if you can do that, if you earnestly treat people how you'd want other people to treat your loved ones, then you're a good person. Regardless of your feelings on politics, regardless of your feelings on race, on religion, or anything else tribal, you are a good person, period. I didn't do it because I think I want to be a good person. I just did it because I hoped one day, God forbid, Dad O'Prey or Mom O'Prey or Sis O'Prey found themselves in the same situation, that there would be somebody like me there who would take the time out of their day to change that tire or do whatever they needed to do to get them back on the road and safely home. Anyway, so she says, "Oh, you're such a good boy," she said. Her praise and appreciation were almost embarrassing. When I got in the cab, she gave me an address and then asked, "Could you drive through downtown?" "It's not the shortest way," I answered. "Oh, I don't mind," she said. "I'm in no hurry. I'm on my way to a hospice." Oh, man. I looked in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were glistening. "I don't have any family left," she continued. "The doctor said I should go there. He says I don't have very long." Wow. Do they honestly do that, though? Would they tell an old lady who had no family to go to hospice? I don't know. Like, this is a very emotional story, but it doesn't pass the smell test. I quietly reached over and shut off the meter. "What route would you like me to go?" I asked. For the next 2 hours, we drove the city. She showed me the building where she once worked as an elevator operator. We drove through the neighborhood where she and her husband had lived when they had first been married. She made me pull up in front of a furniture warehouse that had once been a ballroom where she had gone dancing as a girl. Sometimes she would have me slow down in front of a particular building or corner and would sit staring into the darkness, saying nothing. As the first hint of sun was creasing the horizon, she suddenly said, "I'm tired. Let's go now." We drove in silence to the address she had given me. It was a low building like a small convalescent home with a tar driveway that passed under a portico. 2 orderlies came out to the cab as soon as we pulled up. Without waiting for me, they opened the door and began assisting the woman. They were solicitous and intent, watching her every move. They must have been expecting her. Perhaps she had phoned them before we left. I opened the trunk and took the small suitcase up to the door. The woman was already seated in a wheelchair. "How much do I owe you?" she asked, reaching into her purse. "Nothing," I said. She said, "You have to make a living," she answered. "There are other passengers," I responded. Almost without thinking, I bent over and gave her a hug. She held on to me tightly. "You gave an old woman a little moment of joy," she said. "Thank you." There was nothing more to say. I squeezed her by the hand once, then walked into the dim morning light. Behind me, I could hear the door shut. It was the sound of the closing of a life. I did not pick up any more passengers that shift. I drove aimlessly, lost in thought for the remainder of the day. I could hardly talk. What if that woman had gotten a driver who had been angry or abusive or impatient to end his shift? What if I had refused to take the run or had honked once and then driven away? What if I had been in a foul mood and had refused to engage the woman in conversation? How many other moments like that had I missed or failed to grasp? We are so conditioned to think our lives revolve around great moments, but great moments often catch us unaware. When that woman hugged me and said that I had brought her a moment of joy, it was possible to believe that I had been placed on earth for the sole purpose of providing her with that last ride. I do not think that I have done anything in my life that was any more important. Wow. Oh, man. No offense to the people who watch this channel, but I'm fairly certain this had to have been, and these question marks generally come from things that are copied off of web pages. I'm fairly certain this was copied and pasted into Dear Bop, but I'm not even mad. This was a beautiful story. I don't know if it's legit or not. I guess I could Google it, but I don't want to because I don't want to hear that it's bullshit. My God. My God. I don't know. Some of it seems a bit iffy, but you know what? It could happen even if it didn't. And I'll tell you, if I didn't get sick when I did, and if I was still walking and driving and whatnot, I would totally be doing Uber at night or something. I know I'd probably get tired of it the first time some bitch threw up in the back of my car, but I don't know. Part of me always wanted to be a cab driver, a taxi driver, and it kind of runs in the family. Mamo Prey's father was a taxi driver. I always to think that I could do it part time. Just I would totally be doing that. Not for the money. I mean, knock wood, my job was paid pretty goddamn well. Just for the social aspect, just for the stories, just for the moments, possibly like this. I'd be doing it. But man, this was crazy. What is that? Fast forwarding? Well, you guys really want me to fast forward through the fucking story? God damn, this was a fucking people were putting their heart on their chest. Is that really fast forward through the fucking story? Richie Poole says you may want to limit Dear Bop to 500 words or less. Deej says whoever put this up as a Dear Bop needs a kick in the nuts. Wow. Deej says bird talking is making me want. Oh my God. Bird talking is making me want to do like the people on airplane listening to Stryker. Multi-Gunman is a sure bird. That's why you changed the tire. We all know the truth. No, believe me, Multi-Gunman. If she was attractive, I would have been all about changing that tire. This was an older woman who I had zero could I would have said no. I would have literally said no. Yeah, I'm not even sure she played for the same team, if you know what I mean, and there had to be 25, 30 years between us. Hello? Hello? Nobody. Anyway. Wow, is this ever going to end? John Aragi says, Dear Bob, would you rather have an... Wow, you guys. Bird went woke? Wow, Richie Poole says he gave the lady the last ride. Deej says this story sucked. Wow. Another fake story. Motherfucker. Wesley says, great story. John Aragi says, any more fake news? Bird will get featured on CNN. Wesley liked it. Yeah, we need more great stories. Somebody prank-dialed Bird, says John Araki. The Multi-Gunman says, is that Birds of Hazard I hear? Yes, it is. And Cinnabon is dead. Cinnabon died because it took so long. Richie Poole says, that story hold the record for the longest Dear Bop. You know, it might, Richie. I don't know. I don't count them. So you know what? You guys are I thought you guys would. I almost teared up. Dear Bop, I eat raw meat every day and have loads of tapeworms just poking out of my butt. Please discuss the multiple ways that eating raw meat is good for you and good for me, raw meat guy. I cannot discuss that, raw meat guy, as I personally do not believe eating raw meat is good for you. So I would strongly suggest you go to if you want to go to an all meat diet. I'm for that. I understand the logic. I understand the science between an all meat diet, but it's got to be cooked meat. Yes, it is indeed cooking meat lets you get more nutrients out of it than raw meat. That's the scientific fact. Salty Tracker says, skipping my comment, jerk. What did you say, Salty Tracker? Wow, Bird, wow, I am so touched. But I would get tired of it when some bitch threw up in my car. Well, yeah, I'm just saying, I'm sure I would. That would, you know, that would, it's different. And he skipped my comment again. I read it this time. John DeMarco, rest in peace in a bun. The Multi-Gunman says, Salty Tracker, Bird of Prey doesn't talk to Turtistanes. And Salty Tracker says, stop skipping comments. Cinnabon says, he's a trill. He has the wisdom of many lifetimes. Wesley says, you guys are mean. They are mean, Wes. They are mean. Dear Bop, please help, as I'm very confused. I used to subscribe to a YouTube called Anti-Tracker, and over the years I quite enjoyed his stream and videos. But the other day I noticed he changed his name to Salty Tracker. Obviously I missed something here. So Bird, what's the story? I'm not 100% sure. You should ask him. He's going to be streaming tonight. But what I heard is that Anti-Tracker had a recent surgery where they replaced his gallbladder with a 2.5 pound block of salt. And it is now slowly dissolving into his bloodstream, making him more salty than the Dead Sea. Anyway, obviously this required a name change. So he decided to take the name Salty Tracker, as he believes this will give him special powers. I'm not exactly sure what the power of salt will do. I believe it will allow him to touch any type of snail or slug creature and instantly dissolve it through osmosis, which is kind of a ridiculous superpower. But hey, it is a superpower. So that's the story of why he's now called the Salty Tracker. Yes, true facts. Hashtag true facts. Dear Ozzy O'Prey, do you like to eat raw meat and drink blood? And if so, what are your favorites and why? Let me ask him. Hey, cousin Ozzy, get over here. Oi, what's the matter? They want to know if you like to eat raw meat and drink blood. Oi, crikey, no. No, the raw meat is disgusting. No, they invented fire. We in Australia, we invented fire over 200 years ago. And ever since, we've been cooking everything on the Barbie. We put Crocs on the Barbie. We put koala on the Barbie. We put shrimp on the Barbie. We put dingo on the Barbie. We put everything on the Barbie. Foster's on the Barbie. It's all much better on the Barbie. So no more raw meat. Over 200 years, we've invented the Barbie. Okay. Thank you. You should probably get back to sleep now. Oi. Yeah, it's tired. It's tired. It's dark here. I think. I'm not sure. Well, right from Ozzy Opray's mouth. They invented the Barbie over 200 years ago. Arabic Sanders says, Bird of Prey, the salt will make us start floating when we listen to his streams. If you say so. And Richie Poole apologizes to Australia. Dear Bop, we heard your generous offer to sell your body, and we are open to negotiating the price. Would you take $5? Science. I told you, Science. The starting bid is $250,000 US. That is the opening bid. If you're going to bid less than that, the answer is no, thank you. Dear Bop, down. Down. How many times did people write that? Twice. Dear Bop, should I date someone who had 6 toes on their left foot? Well, had? How many do they have now? Have they been cut to conform to the 5-toe standard? Because I'll be honest, feet don't really matter to me. I know there are men who are into feet. I mean, there are millions of men, right? There's tons of feet fetish things, websites and videos. There's a lot of people who are into the foot fetish. I am not one of them, okay? I couldn't give 2 shits about what a woman's foot looks like, really. As long as it's not like in an actual state of decay, I don't care if their toes are overlapping, if they're, if there's a 6th toe or a 7th toe even, it really wouldn't matter to me what their feet look like. I am looking from the ankles up, okay? The ankles up is what I like. The feet wouldn't matter to me, so I'm the wrong person to ask. Now, if you're a foot person and you're really into the feet, then, if you think that 6th toe or the scar from a 6th toe is going to be a problem for you, then honestly, maybe don't. But I would say go for it. I wouldn't make a fucking difference to me. Now, it is important to note that if you do ever get married and have babies, there's a pretty good chance the baby would have a 6th toe or 6th finger, because if what my high school biology teacher taught me is true, that is in fact a dominant gene. So I believe there's at least a 50% chance that any baby born would have a 6th digit. Multi-Gunman says, confirmed, Bird has a foot fetish. That is the opposite. Richie Poole says, Bird of Prey likes women with only 1 foot. I wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, Richie, but it's not, it wouldn't be a no. Let's put it that way. It wouldn't be a no. I've actually, one time, somebody had, back in the day when porn wasn't available on the internet readily, and it was on like videotape. Somebody had amputee porn, and I wouldn't say it turned me on, but it didn't turn me off. I could totally deal with amputee. It wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem. Carla Barron says, I love the Dear Bop slot. Thank you, Carla. I hope you still do. Carla says, I have a new phone and the keyboard is possessed and keeps putting in extra letters. Then the dyslexic spell check takes over. Antiderivative Jill says, lol, I like the foot question turned into a biology lesson. Salty Tracker is saying, ew, TMI. Carla says, dominant genes are rubbish. I have 8 kids and only one has brown eyes. Wow. Salty Tracker again is saying TMI. John DeMarco says TMI. Everybody's saying TMI. Cinnabon says, bird likes swappable parts. And Richie Poole has joined in the TMI bandwagon. I thought I was just talking to my audience, to my friends. I was being honest. You guys saying TMI. I don't even talk about this stuff with my close friends. Dear Bop, I would like to dress up as a Klingon. Where do you think is an appropriate place to do this? Your head and shoulders. Don't dress up as a Klingon below the waist. Oh, where? I mean, like where? You could order online. You can order stuff. Etsy has a lot of Klingon. You can got people who make custom Klingon makeup, custom Klingon inserts or whatever. One of the best masks I ever found was in a old time costume shop. The mask fit over my head. It was damn near perfect. In fact, it had a mouth. I had to cut it, and it fit my skin so perfectly. Unfortunately, I lost the mask. We threw it out because it was so old. And then I tried to buy a new one. I bought one that looked exactly the same, but I couldn't get it over my head. So either this mask was smaller than the one I had originally, or I just got so much weaker, which is very possible. I wasn't nearly as strong as I used to be, even in my arms, that I couldn't get it over my face. So, which is a shame. But yeah, it was a really great Klingon, and it looked good. And I could move my mouth, and it would like it fit my lips and everything. It wasn't supposed to be like that. It was supposed to be like a mask you put on like a kid, and it was supposed to have a lot of extra room. But for my head, it was just perfect size at the time. So I don't know where else you might get Klingon makeup. Cinnabon says, show us on the potato the parts bird made you take off. John DeMarco suggests dressing up as a Klingon and going to a grocery store. Robert Rose, so Berta Prey's a dirty boy, confessing he watches porn. Get onto him, Mama Prey, after the stream ends. Mama Prey's outside. That's why I can talk about this. And Arabic Son says, Bird is your favorite character from King of the Hill. Peggy. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Oh, Peggy is awful. I'm sorry. No, none of them. Peggy is not an attractive lady. I'm sorry. And what's his face wife cheats on him. She's definitely cuter. And Luann is just too stupid. There's no great women on King of the Hill, unfortunately. There's no great women. Honestly, I don't even remember her name, but it would probably be Khan's wife. That's the most attractive woman on King of the Hill. Not a lot. There's not a lot to go on. Multi-Gunman says, is that a mask you wore when you made all? No, I didn't make amputee porn. OnlyFans /Bop69. No. Jedi Bills is hello, bird of prey. Qapla, brother warrior. Hail, Caroga. Hail, Caroga. Hail to you, Jedi Bill. Oh. Dear Bop, I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something. There are many different good people on YouTube. Who are some you like to watch the most? Well, within the fandom menace, since Anti-Tracker is no longer a part of it by his own admission, although Salty Tracker. I do try and catch Salty Tracker streams. Every morning I'm at Captain Track's stream at 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern, the Morning Brew. But other YouTubers, obviously Doomcock and Nerdrotic are some of my favorite. They do on Thursdays, usually, not every Thursday. Exozone, one of my favorite YouTube shows. Fridays now, obviously they do shows, the evening shows, good stuff. But other than that, just random YouTube channels I tend to watch. My newest one that I've been watching is called Plainly Difficult. PLAINY Difficult, DIFFICULT. And he does a lot of videos about disasters, nuclear reactors, ship sinkings, and dam breaks mostly. But all different types of disasters, and occasionally videos on strange places. I also really like Viva Fry. He's a Canadian lawyer who turned YouTuber, who just today announced he's running for Parliament in Canada. And I left this message on his video today. I say, as an American, I have never in my life wished to be a Canadian. There was no point in my life did I ever have a wish to be a Canadian, even a little bit, until today. His announcement that he was running for Parliament of Canada, I wished for the first time that I was a Canadian, only so I could vote for him. Because he is very smart and, let's just say he understands what's going on in the world, and I would trust his judgment 99 times out of 100, which is pretty good. He doesn't like to be political. He generally hates politics, but what he saw, what happened in Canada this past year and a half, he realized that he could no longer sit idly by. If good people do nothing, then they're part of the problem. And he was in a position to try and do something. So God bless him, and I hope he wins. So Viva Fry, great channel. And the best lawyer on YouTube, not like that hack, Legal Eagle. Sorry if you're getting your lawyer news from Legal Eagle. You need to find a better YouTube attorney. And that is opinion, Legal Eagle. Yeah, I don't need you sending me any stupid slander. I have no legal ability to decide how good a lawyer you are. The people listening to this know this. I just know that every time I listen to one of your videos, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're on the wrong side of the law. You're on the wrong side of history. Honestly, a channel I watch a lot only because, and yes, I learned about it through Fandom Menace. Trillium, for those of you who don't know or whatever, Trillium, she's a gardener. She does gardening for a living. She has her own garden. She has customers, and she puts out occasional videos of her like today she put out a video of her cutting down a tree. And it's just, she talks about her life intertwined in her gardening. It's interesting. I find her videos, relaxing. Relaxing is the word. And of course, there's everybody in this community, Deej, Rambling Canuck, The History with R&R. They did a video just a few days ago. It was a great video. Poor Jeff Franklin being sent around the world to cover terrible tragedies. This is besides those people. Number Files, Vertasium, Screen Rant. That's Lore Reloaded, of course. Lore Reloaded was the first YouTube channel I knew by name. Was Lore Reloaded. He was the first YouTube channel I knew by name, the first YouTube channel I became a patron of, and the first YouTube channel I actually cared about when their videos came out. John DeMarco says, it's easy, just say you identify as Canadian. Robert Rose Jr. says, Khan tells Bird of Prey, for wanting my wife from hell's heart, I stab at thee. Yes, yes. Multi-Gun Man says, likes to watch naked yoga on YouTube. And to answer your next question, yes, that's a thing. I have not watched naked yoga on YouTube yet. Aravic Saunders says treason. And it's okay. It's not treason. And Multi-Gun Man says, what political party is that lawyer running with? It's not one of the main parties. He's in Quebec. The People's something party. It's not a commie party. It's the party only ran their first candidate in his province in 2018 and only got 1% of the vote. So I don't know what his chances really are, but yeah, I'm not sure. If you're not in Quebec, I don't know if you can vote for him. But his name is David Frei, Frei. And his channel is Viver Frei, VIVAFRIE. Dee Myers is Canadian Bird of Prey. Wow, that's treason. Grab a rope. Salty Tracker says Bird's a commie, confirmed. No. And John DeMario says he's in Quebec. Well, then he's not really Canadian, eh? Canucko Prey 5 is up there, says John Iraqi. Robert Rose Jr. says Lore Reloaded improved the Salty Trackers broadcast the other day and YouTube channel in general. Life with Matthew may just kill his channel. And Cinnabon Bunny says Quebec is a lot more like Upper Michigan than Canada. And also, of course, Cinnabon Bunny is a channel I watch. Life with Matthew is a channel I watch. I don't want to leave any of those people out. Multi-Gunman says, Bird of Prey. That party would be the PPC. Yes, People's Party of Canada. It's not a commie party. It's a right-wing party. It's a national party. I voted for them in the last election. Yeah. He doesn't consider himself conservative, but he certainly doesn't consider himself liberal. So yeah, the PPC, that's it. Dear Ozzy O'Prey, do you like... we did this. Dear Bop, so what is a salty tracker? It's like anti-tracker, but with 2 extra pounds of salt. Dear Bop, I like ladies who are missing body parts. Any advice? I hear you know a lot about this. I don't have any advice on the issue, but maybe find where there's a meeting for, I don't know, people going through recent, I'm assuming they must have meetings for amputees. Maybe hang out outside a meeting, have a chance encounter. I don't know. Is it weird that my brain went there? The Multi-Gunman says, Bird of Prey, that party would be the PBC. Yes. It is not a commie party. Right, I read that. Good for you, Multi-Gunman. Dear Bop, son of a bitch, I hit reset instead of submit. Son of a bitch. I'm sorry to hear that. That means it erased what you did. But if you hit Control Z, it may have undone it. I don't know if it would. If it ever happens again, hit Control Z on the keyboard. It might undo. Dear Bop, if I get salt from the salty tracker, can I salt the raw meat to eat it and be safe? Raw meat guy. You know, I don't think salting the meat is enough to make it safe. In fact, it probably make things worse over time if you eat more salt and no more water. Dear Bop, I have a new line of soothing massage oils you may like. They feel so nice as they're rubbed into your skin. They are made from 100% raw chicken blood. Jesus Christ. Dear Bop, Wesley Crusher here. Lately, I've been feeling the dislike of Will Wheaton and his posts online. Perhaps I should take care of him. Could Uncle Paulie help me take care of him for good? Then I can impersonate him and make crazy far-right wing posts. Then the left will hate him as well. Sounds like a great idea. Let me know what Uncle Paulie thinks. Thanks, Bop, WC. I'm sorry, Wes. I don't think Uncle Paulie can take out Will Wheaton like that for you. That's not the way it works. The Multi-Gunman says, have to go now. Have a good day, buddy. Take care, Multi-Gunman. Thanks for coming. And yeah, guys, that was the last of the Dear Bops for today. So I think we are going to be calling it an afternoon, as I streamed for an hour and a half earlier. And I am starting to feel it. Later tonight, guys, be sure to check out Salty Tracker for his movie night with Matthew. And I don't know who else might be streaming between now and then, but keep an eye out. Orville Nation is sometimes streaming, another channel I frequent. Friday Night Tights, Doomcock later, of course. And yeah, check out Viva Frei. If you're in Canada, check out if you can vote for him. And do it if you can. Robert Rose is That's How Dirty Life with Matthew on the Salty Trekker channel. Getting worn out, Bird of Prey. And Salty Trekker put in a link to. That's Hi Diddly Ho. Oh, Hi Diddly Ho of Life with Matthew. Yeah, that's kind of the roughest part of Life with Matthew streams. That recurring Hi Diddly Ho that Salty Trekker likes to put in. Anyway, guys, Qapla all, bird out. But wait, there's more. The video might be over, but there's more fun to be had. First, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have clicked that bell icon to get notifications of new videos in your YouTube feed. Share this video on social media to help this channel fight the algorithm that favors big media. Also check out www.birdoprey5.com for links to my other channels, various social media accounts, merch store, Dear Bop, affiliate links, and all your Bird of Prey 5 needs. At the main Bird of Prey 5 YouTube channel, you can find all sorts of live streams and unlisted videos, YouTube membership options, and a community section with polls and updates on the channel. On the secondary channel, Bird of Prey 5X, you can find overflow content that doesn't always make the main channel. Subscribe to both channels, please. Thanks for watching. Remember, I stream almost every day. This is Bird of Prey 5 saying goodbye, world. Until next time. P.S. Hail Sassy, Hail Charlie, and of course, Hail Caroga.